What is up, you guys? I'm Connor Buckley, and this is the 38th edition of the Anxiety and Depression Vlogs, and today we're going to talk about things people with anxiety want you to know. The first one, what I have is to the person who thinks mental illness is a choice. Number one, it is definitely not a choice. You know, if anyone knew the severity of how much pain and suffering mental illness can cause, they would never joke around about it, they would never play with it, they would never fake it, and they would definitely not choose it if they had a choice not to. So for the people who are faking it, which unfortunately there are people who fake it, whether it's for attention, whether it's for certain behavior, you know, whatever the case may be of why a person might fake having a mental illness, that person obviously doesn't really know the severity of how much pain mental illness can cause you, especially anxiety and depression. So a person with anxiety wants you to know that it is not a choice. It's not like a light switch where you can flick it on and off whenever you want. This is something that stays with you. And if you're a person, unfortunately, who was born with a mental illness, it might never go away. And so that's why the best thing I can do, or that you can do, is learning how to cope with it in the best ways possible. And it took me 2.5 to 3 years to figure out a routine that works for me the best. It took figuring out a routine to figure out how to cope with this anxiety and this depression. It's not a choice, but the one thing that you do have a choice about is whether or not you are staying up with your routines, whether or not you are educating yourself, whether or not you are learning from others who have had it and are being humble enough to accept that, hey, other people are going through it, and other people who have been through it and who are coping, you might want to listen to them because they have figured out ways that work for them, which you can incorporate into your life to work for you.
But what I want people to know is that for the people who do have a choice, which is everyone has a choice to either get better or stay the same. And you may not have a choice about mental illness, but if you have a choice, which you do, about anything to do with getting better, whether it's seeking help, educating yourself, sticking to your routines, those are all going to be things that are going to help you get through the anxiety, the depression, and anything that is causing you emotional distress. Other things that people with anxiety want you to know are that it's not their fault if they act out or behave in a way that makes it seem like they don't want to be around you. You know, a lot of people with anxiety, they get stressed out easily and they need to take a lot of breaks. So like for me, for example, if I'm at a party, a wedding, a baseball game, football game, when I'm around a lot of people, I need to take 3 to 4 breaks for an hour period, within an hour period, because I just can't handle being around that many people all at once, or else I get really bad anxiety attacks. So knowing that going into those events, those parties, I know I'm going to have to take breaks here and there. So I schedule, even if I'm not feeling stressed out at the time, I know that, okay, if I don't take a break now, I'm going to be stressed out in the next 30 minutes. So you might as well take a break now, since you know yourself and you know that these moments are going to cause you anxiety and stress. If you're worried about other people judging you because you're taking those breaks, it's a lot better to have someone judge you for taking breaks than it is to go through another anxiety attack. Because those who know what anxiety attacks feel like know that they are hell, and they can cause you so much physical stress and emotional stress that it can put you into a state of feeling frozen, feeling like you can't do anything, feeling locked up physically and emotionally. So having those anxiety attacks, if you are someone who has those anxiety attacks, don't be afraid to take breaks and be honest with yourself. If you need a break, be honest.
And as I was thinking about it, I realized that, you know, every person, it's different with what you want them to know. If you want someone to know about your anxiety and you're someone who feels overwhelmed with going to school or going to work, you need to let your work, your school know. You need to let those people know so that they can help you out and support you in whatever ways that you need. And don't be afraid to just talk about it with other people. And that's one thing that I think a person with anxiety would want other people to know, is that it's okay to talk about it. I mean, at least for me, I'm very, very open about it. And if you're someone who isn't really at that point yet, where you can freely talk about it with just anyone. Talk about it with the people that you trust and open up to them about how your day is going, and how if you want them to know that you need someone to talk to, don't be afraid to just say, hey, I need to talk for 5 minutes. Do you have time? Simply asking that and asking for someone else to be there for you is such a amazing, helpful thing, because when I was going through it, I didn't want to let anyone know because I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. And most people feel that same way, as from what I found out with talking with other people who have had anxiety, depression. You don't want to be a burden to other people, but basically you're not being a burden. Everyone needs help, and if you are someone who is worried about being a burden on someone else, most people don't mind taking the time to sit and just talk, especially the ones that love you and the ones that you trust. And usually the people with anxiety and depression are the ones who are so focused on helping others that they forget to take care of themselves. And that's the number one important thing that I can't stress enough. You got to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. It sounds very selfish, but it's truly the only way to get better and to work on yourself, because when you're healthy, when you're happy, you can spread that love and happiness to other people. If you're miserable, it's very, very difficult to give that to someone else. So I just encourage you guys, talk to the ones you love, be open, be honest. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to be okay, but you need to do the things that are going to help you. You can't just sit around expecting your depression, your anxiety to get better. You need to be proactive, and you need to self-educate yourself. You need to seek help from others. You need to stick to your routines. You need to find a routine that works for you in the morning and the evening. So I just encourage you guys, speak up, be loud, share your voice with others, especially the ones you trust and love the most. Stick to your routines, talk to other people, self-educate yourself, and become the best version of you that you can be. I'll see you guys next week.